Good, happy Saturday morning is Saturday, November 15, 2025. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Saturday morning edition of WRMK News 12. Let's get started right now. First up, officer-involved shooting in Charlestown under state investigation. New Hampshire State Police, in coordination with the Attorney General's office, have launched an investigation into an officer-involved shooting that took place Friday night in Charlestown. Officials say the incident occurred during a traffic stop near the intersection of Carl Lane and Claremont Road. One man sustained injuries, though the exact of those injuries has not been disclosed. Authorities have yet to release details regarding the circumstances that led to the shooting. They note that the inquiry remains active and ongoing. Additional updates are expected as the investigation continues to piece together what happened. New Hampshire Supreme Court Justice to step back from case work ahead of 2026 retirement. New Hampshire Supreme Court Justice Anna Barbara Hance Marconi has notified colleagues that she will no longer take part in case assignments, deliberations, or traditional decision-making as she heads towards her scheduled retirement. Hance Marconi is set to retire on February 12, 2026, upon reaching the state's mandatory retirement age of 70. In a letter to fellow justices, she said that for the remainder of her truancy, she will focus on supporting internal administrative matters and functions for the court. Her announcement comes weeks after she entered a no-contest plea to agree to a charge that she attempted to influence a criminal case involving her husband, former New Hampshire Port Authority Director Gino Marconi. While the plea was not an admission of guilt, it indicated she acknowledged the state had significant evidence to prove the allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Following the plea, Hance Marconi was quickly reinstated. A panel of her peers also voted to restore her law license, determining that the conviction did not meet legal threshold of a serious crime. She returned to the bench shortly thereafter, becoming the first convicted criminal in New Hampshire history to serve on the state's highest court. I recognize that events of the past year have had an impact on the work of the court, and I regret that disruption, she wrote. Despite the challenges, it has been the greatest honor of my professional life to serve as a justice of this court. I remain committed to assisting the court in any way that prompts its continued effectiveness and integrity. On October 31st, her husband Gino Marconi pleaded guilty to the misdemeanor violation of the Driver Privacy Act and subsequently resigned from his position. I recognize and take responsibility for my action, he said in court. New Hampshire nonprofit rallies holiday support for troops and veterans. A New Hampshire nonprofit is stepping up its efforts to support deployed service members, veterans, and their families during the holiday season. Operation Care for Troops, a volunteer run organization, prepares and ships care packages to military personnel overseas while assisting homeless and at risk veterans throughout the state. This year, volunteers are working to assemble more than 1,500 stockings for troops stationed abroad. Time is very finite, said Deborah of Operations Care for Troops. We have X amount of time in a day, and in today's world, we're trying to shove so much in. But when we come here, we get to give our time for somebody else, and it means a huge amount to all the people that receive these packages. The group is currently seeking donations, including protein bars, hydration drink mixes, hand and foot warmers, and winter socks to help fill the stockings and support service members during the winter months. Trump directs DOJ to probe Epstein's links to prominent Democrats. President Trump has instructed the Department of Justice to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's connections to several high-profile Democrats, including former President Bill Clinton. The directive comes as a renewed attention is focused on Trump's own past association with Epstein, raising fresh questions about their relationship and interactions before Epstein's conviction. And that does it for this morning edition of WRMK News 12 on this Saturday morning. Thank you for tuning in and watching, and have a great rest of your Saturday. Goodbye.